Case file 007-867. Case file date November 3rd, 2009. Location Zone 7. Subject Zone 7 Argus Hastings. Entity Stalker. Target Omega. Mission briefing. Argus Hastings has worked with Organization 040 for many years, contributing to our operations, projects, and generally advancing our interests. We have now found out that Hastings has defected and is planning to give a large portion of our work as well as facility locations to Zone 7. We cannot allow this. Agents are to covertly lock down Zone 7 and insert a stalker to kill all inside. Collect Zone 7's data and sabotage the facility after Stalker has cleared it. Mission synopsis. Most information of the mission was taken from Zone 7's surveillance cameras post-mission. Almost all dialogue has been translated from its original language for ease of reading.
November 3rd, 2009, 0400. Agents Chen and Wells infiltrate the perimeter of Zone 7 through the use of superior tech. The outside guards are dispatched through various discreet means, including silenced firearms, hand-to-hand combat and bladed weapons. 0430. Entire perimeter of Zone 7 is secured. Agent Chen hacks and systematically locks down Zone 7 while Agent Wells calls in Stalker's transport. 0445. The Stalker is successfully inserted into Zone 7 via the ventilation shafts. Agents seal up the shaft immediately to prevent Stalker from escaping and then proceed to secure any other exit Stalker may find. 0450. The Stalker finds its first victims in the engineering bay. The engineers had been trying to breach the main exit door with various tools when the Stalker made itself known with a loud shriek while staying in the darkness. Of the 5 engineers in the room, 3 of them fan out over the large area with their tools as weapons. The other 2 engineers attempt to open the door. The engineer on the far right is attacked first. The Stalker jumps down right behind him before leaping back up with both claws pressing into his back. The force of the leap pushed the Stalker claws through the engineer's back and out through his ribcage. The Stalker disappears into the shadows along the ceiling with the body of the engineer as the other 2 engineers investigate the noise. The Stalker tosses the engineer the 2 others and hits one of them, breaking the tossed engineer's body and knocking the engineer down. The standing engineer raises his torch up near him in a defensive stance. The Stalker lands to the right of him and tears his head off with one swipe of a clawed arm. Note: researchers' idea to sharpen claws on Stalkers proved to be a smart choice. The Stalker ambles over to the downed engineer and snaps his neck with little hesitation before returning to the darkness around the ceiling. The remaining engineers working on opening the door call out to their comrades before setting back to the door once more. The Stalker lets a few cries out around the room to unnerve them. It then throws several chunks of the deceased engineers close to the 2 men in an effort to spook them further. The engineers panic and turn their back on the Stalker to open the door quicker. The Stalker takes this opportunity to land behind him and attack. The engineer on the left is grabbed by the Stalker and slammed several times into the wall. The other engineer turns his torch on the Stalker, but the Stalker swiftly breaks the man's hand with its spare hands and turns the torch up on him, burning him to death. 0525. Everyone in engineering is dead and the Stalker detects other people in the facility, using the air ducts to travel around. Hastings is in the main research bay, visibly shaken. 0530. The Stalker gains access to the main hallway system and disposes of several employees and guards trapped in there. 0530. The head of security, trapped in the security surveillance room, notices the Stalker on camera. Agents had shut down most cameras but several were still working at this point, and alerts the rest of the facility via intercom.
Transcribed copy of the warning. Unidentified physical entities loose in the facility. We have confirmed casualties. Please block the vent entrances in your rooms and any other entrances that the entity could use to enter. Also, it appears that most of our facility is suffering from technical difficulties. Doors are not working, computers and phones are down. This may be an act of sabotage.
Hastings is hiding in the corner of the research bay and is writing in a notebook. 0550. The Stalker sniffs out 3 researchers hiding in the lab and starts prying the metal doors open. One researcher runs to a computer console and starts typing furiously.
The researcher's message. We are under attack. It must be because of the defector that arrived yesterday. And you letting him in was a bad idea. Should have taken him to corporate or someplace public. Organization 040 is just too strong and advanced right now to be opposed. Most of our research has been moved to Zone 2 due to our new agreement. It's a code relief that they won't get their hands on my work. This message may never get to you, but I love you so much. I'm sorry I never told you about my work. Please raise our son to be.
The stalker bends the door back and lunges at the closest researcher, tearing him clean in half. The other two researchers attempt to hide in the back of the lab, but the stalker forcibly removes them from their hiding place and strangles each of them before moving back through the hallways. O630. 4 rooms remain with people in them: security surveillance room, main research bay, recreation and test room 2. The several guards and security are trying to find a way out of the room and have been banging and pulling on the doors, chipping at the reinforced glass and trying to get the facility systems back online. The group in main research bay are rapidly sealing off portions of the room and making barricades. A few of them have noticed a ventilation shaft and are attempting to create a makeshift ladder to seal it off. Hastings is still in the corner of the room writing. Recreation appears to be one of the areas that weren't locked down. The group inside is split between trying to escape and bordering up the room to hold out for rescue. The several people in test room 2 are panicking more than the other groups. It appears that they've been trapped in the middle of an experiment and the entity that was the focus of the experiment is breaking out of captivity. Hour 650. The cameras for test room 2 go out at this point. The recreation group is split nearly in half. 5 of them want to make a break for it, while the other 4 want to barricade. The stalker throws open the doors and pounces on the nearest 2 people, ripping at them with claws and gouging out eyes. 4 people make it out of the room, 2 people run farther back into the recreation to hide, and 1 person is gutted while trying to save one of the researchers from the stalker. Hour 655. The stalker roots out the 2 hiding researchers in recreation and rips them limb from limb. Researchers' repeated desire to hide from the stalker is ineffective. The stalker's keen senses prove to be too much. It begins feasting on the corpses in the room. Hour 700. The 4 researchers continue to flee through the hallways, trying various doors as they go and navigating around previous victims of the stalker. Hour 705. 2 of the researchers stop at the security window and pound on it while the other 2 continue on towards the main exit. Static and screams pour from test room 2's microphone. The screams appear to be a mix of the researchers in the room and the entity they were researching. Hour 720. The stalker finishes eating. A stalker can burn through an immense amount of energy if constantly attacking and moving. They are prone to taking breaks to feast on prior victims to regain energy. It lumbers out into the hallway and starts making its way towards the main research bay. The 2 researchers at the security get into a brief discussion about where to go next. One wants to check on test room 2 to make sure their fail-safes did not go down, while the other wants to head towards the exit. They debate for several minutes before splitting up. Hour 730. The stalker reaches the main research bay and begins pounding and tapping on the various doors, testing their strength. Several of the people inside grab desks and various other large objects and start barricading the doors on the side of the room. The researcher reaches the entrance to test room 2 and is visibly shaken. He screams several times at the door before falling backwards and resting against the wall. The screams stop emitting from test room 2. Everyone in the main research lab stops doing what action they were doing prior and seem to be listening for or to something. Hastings makes a mad dash for the leg space under one of the desks and curls up there. Hour 731. The stalker lets out a shriek. The door to test room 2 suddenly opens despite the lack of power to it. The camera pointed at test room 2's door from the hallway starts to flicker and a large mass of matter rivers out of the hallway and envelopes the researcher slumped against the wall. The camera is filled with static and interference, making the visibility of this event poor. Hour 742. Every camera in the facility suddenly goes off. There is no audio or video. Hour 740. Every camera turns on again. Each room is filled with horrific sights. The only movement seen when the cameras turn back on is someone already halfway out the main entrance door. But Chen and Wiles report no one coming out the door, and the exterior camera does not show the door opening or anybody leaving the building. Hour 900. A team is sent in to investigate the building and find Hastings. They find pages of his notebook in the entranceway to the facility.
Hastings' notebook.
The facility just locked down, trapping us in research. I assume this means that Organization 440 has come to reclaim me or at least deny me from helping anyone else. I'll know when I figure out which operative has been sent. I didn't really betray Organization 440, not in a malicious way or anything. I found someone else who was something that you didn't have and decided that my talents would be of use. In the end, working here with these people would benefit all humankind in their constant battle against the strange and paranormal. I admit that I was going to have to release some information that would compromise a few locations and probably get a few of the organization's labs destroyed. That was an unfortunate side effect of gaining their trust. They wouldn't let me work on the project unless they were sure I wasn't a mole. Now, we need to get to the reason I'm writing this message. Why I'd be writing a message to the people that might be trying to kill me. If you do succeed in killing me, then you still need guidance. I still have people I care about out in the world, so I will put aside my petty feelings to make sure what needs to be done gets done. They found and captured Target Omega. I have no idea exactly when or how they did it. Technically, they shouldn't have been able to. While every secret paranormal organization across the world has access to really good tech that is easily above what the public use, Zone 7 still wasn't particularly high on the power list. There won't tell me specifics, but I believe that Target Omega was caught in a hibernating state of some kind within this country. It worries me more than a little stumbling across one of the most powerful entities in our plane of existence, and if only encountered it while sleeping. There's something to be said when you don't earn your entity. So now you know why I defected. If I had instead told the organization about Omega, then a raid on the lab would have been inevitable. There was a high chance that Omega would awaken and be lost. I couldn't let that happen, so I did what I did. Unfortunately, the attack happened regardless, and I can only hope nothing happens beyond the loss of the research staff here. An announcement about keeping vents closed just went off. A stalker? You do intend to kill me. This is all I know about Target Omega. It is an entity both like and unlike other creatures we faced before. It has a standard plane jumping power associated with many otherworldly entities, psionic powers the likes I've never seen, and apparently the ability to manipulate matter. This thing is deity-like in every way, more so than trapped gods like Volos. Its most impressive and erratic ability seems to be entirely unique to it, however. It's a shapeshifter, but not like the ones we've seen before. Omega seems to be in almost constant flux, changing from one thing to the next. There's a catch to this, however. If someone is looking at Omega, it cannot or will not change shape. Cameras also seem to impair Omega's ability to shapeshift. When I personally got to observe Omega, it was a beautiful woman. I was told to turn around and then look at Omega again. The woman was now a butterfly. I was completely bewildered and questioning when I saw this. How could something that took such soft forms truly be a threat? The project lead told me that Omega was only taking calm forms because it was having positive dreams. He also told me that when Omega was first here, that it was plagued by constant nightmares and transformed into things that led several employees to kill themselves. You know... God, it's free. Currently hiding under a desk. Everyone can hear the noise now.
Writing becomes more erratic.
Surely it's the sound of death itself. The power went fully out. Backup lights just kicked in, so everything is bathed in a dark red light. Still under the desk. No one else is talking though. I do hear a strange noise. Got up to investigate the noise. I could see the movement in the far corner of the room, but I was having trouble seeing, so I flicked my phone light on it. Mistake. Something happened to the other researchers. Several were hanging inches off the ground, their entrails reaching the whole way up to the ceiling. One of them had a microscope shoved the whole way through the eye and out the back of the skull. A few of them appear to now be hollow, their rib cages jutting outward, allowing me to see the lack of organs. One of the hollowed out corpses even had another whole corpse shoved inside of it. The noise I heard came from behind this carnage. Three researchers sat in a circle eating one another's intestines. The sound of the flesh ripping was what I heard. One of them noticed me and looked my way with the most hunted eyes I have ever seen. Their mouth contorted into what I can only assume was a silent scream, and then they collapsed. The other two following suit. I finally started to realize my situation and I was beginning to panic, so I ran over to the door only to find that it was now open. In the hallway I was immediately greeted with the remains of the stalker. It was one of the original stalkers, created one of the most experienced and deadly. Now it was two separate halves, cut clean down the center. Both halves appeared to still be living and were trying to claw their way towards each other. I ran a bit down the hall before collapsing against the wall. I have since calmed down enough to write this out. I'm back and in control. The scientist in me needs to go further. Perhaps I'll find a way out as well. It's been several minutes since I've written down the last section and I finally reached the security area. The glass windows are absolutely covered in blood and gore. I've also pondered a bit about my situation as well. I believe Omega awoke and I'm now either in a pocket dimension that is a far cry from the facility I knew, or Omega has just altered the matter of my reality to suit its whims.
Hastings' handwriting becomes nigh illegible at this point. It took time to decipher his scrawls.
I can see her. The woman. Omega. On the far side of the hallway, looking at me, not moving. Writing this down without breaking eye contact for fear of attack. Dropped pencil. Had to bend down to get it. Accidentally broke vision. Stupid. Omega is significantly closer. No at all. Sexless creature. Evil eyes. Also can see that Omega is slowly moving closer despite eye contact.
The writing reverts back to a more readable format.
Her corpse slammed against the window in the security room. I was spooked and flinched away from it for a second. When my eyes opened, Omega was gone. Am I a plaything? I definitely saw evil in Omega, so this is not an act of mercy. It must have been hours since the last time I wrote in this notebook. I've stumbled across Omega twice. The first time it was on the other side of a glass window in the shape of a child. The room was locked so I couldn't get in, so I probably wouldn't have gone in regardless. The second time I saw it was in the recreation area. It looked like a variation of a stalker and was playing with the corpses inside. I purposefully broke eye contact to see what it would do. Initially it had its back turned to me, maiming the corpses and biting at them. Then the posture changed as if it was suddenly picking up on me. It still kept its back turned to me but slumped down in a seemingly harmless position. When I looked back it was inches from me, hunched over with its face very close to mine. Contorted, scream-looking mouth, eyes black and hateful, teeth sharp and long even for a stalker. I ran from the room and was not followed. I think I'm going to try leaving, see if my pocket dimension theory is incorrect. The door to leave is wide open, so I can't see any light coming from outside. It must be night at this point, or I may actually be in another dimension. I'm going to leave my pages here in the facility as well as some of the formulas I was working on for a better containment field for Omega. Someone might need them.
Hastings' notes end here. Analysis. Omega and Hastings were not found. Our inside source must have planned for both of these things to happen, as Organization 440 would not have made that attack knowing such a dangerous entity was poised for escape. Information on Omega as well as Hastings' containment formulas have been found and are being studied. Talks are in session about what to do with Zone 2. They may now possess information on Omega. Case file unresolved.
Secrets here. T left me a note via Word document left on my desktop. I believe she wanted me to post it at the end of the case file, from the way she worded things.
T's note. Way to get back on the horse and continue writing secrets. Proud of you and all that. Now I know you and Noselip have many questions about what happened to you, what's up with the case files, and probably as to who or what I am, plus many more questions related to other things, I'm sure. So, how about we have ourselves a little Q&A. Case file 10 will be a rather short file, and then me answering questions that Noselip will PM you or comment on in case file 9. I'll answer what I can and what I choose to. Also, I'll just reveal some information about me on the whole. Have fun moving. Can't wait to enjoy the heat with you.
Q&A, huh? Well, I decided that I'll go along with it. I need info as much as you guys do, and playing this little game is a step towards doing just that. So after I post case file 9, PM me or post comments asking questions, guess. I leave them in a Word document on my desktop. So to be fair, he knew I was writing case file 7 out before I posted it, so maybe that's not necessary. Also, it appears he at least knows the climate of the place I'm moving to. Fun. If people know anything or whatever, feel free to contact me. I'm sociable enough on most days. Oh, also the previous case file exclamation point, or whatever you want to call it, may have been passed up by some of you for reading due to weird naming conventions. Just a friendly reminder to check it out if you haven't. As always, stay safe, no sleep. Secrets.